You'll have to excuse my 80s style glam band tribute act here, but I've just got off the back of a stream with two of my best mates talking about everything that happened to Sheffield Wednesday today and the relegation battle. And I just kind of wanted to get down and do a video straight to you guys that I've not done in a little while, because this season has been an absolute roller coaster as a Sheffield Wednesday fan. We had the worst start to a season pretty much ever, 13 matches without a win. And we have managed to turn it around on the final day. And it needed to go to the wire. Birmingham won. Plymouth won. The things that we thought, that's very unlikely that they win and then we don't get a point. We needed a point today, but Sheffield Wednesday came out and were professional. And away at the Stadium of Light, got a 2-0 win. That is absolutely massive for us. And I can't stress enough how much Danny Rull has reinstilled my faith in this side. You know, players that we thought, they're just not good enough for this level. That might have been true in certain aspects in terms of like being the top end of this system. Danny Rull requires an intense side, an intense press, and it's not always going to be there with certain players that aren't designed for that. But you could see straight away when this manager came in after an awful manager in Xisco that patterns were starting to emerge. We took some batterings. A team that went down, Huddersfield, beat us 4-0. They have been relegated. We surpassed them after their fall off. You know, we've had batterings. The Ipswich, absolutely. I don't even want to talk about those now, because you come to the end of the season and we've got 53 points. We only stayed up by 3 points because the final day, 50 points for Birmingham winning on the last day was not enough. There was a point today when we were 5 points clear. But the other teams, every team that needed to turn up at the bottom of the table did. Even Rotherham, who were already relegated, got a 5-2 win. It was another example of how crazy the Championship can be and how crazy Championship football is in general. And I'm just really pleased from a club perspective that we are going to be within the Championship for another season, because, yes, football is tailing off in terms of, you know, the levels between the Premier League and everyone else, basically. And I think we've known this as lower league fans for a while. You look at just the FA Cup replay thing and no consultation to the EFL at all. I've been growingly concerned as a fan of a club that's got a big fan base and always talks about being the sleeping giant of, I thought if we got relegated to League One this season, I was talking about bringing in someone like Warnock as a firefighter manager, because financially, with an ownership that seemed to be not wanting to back us at the time, you know, when all that horrible stuff with Chansiri went off at the start of the season, I just thought it's going to be a disaster. We could drop and drop again. We could go lower than we've ever gone before. But even though the appointment should have happened at the start of the season, I will say this: Danny Rull coming in has been the perfect appointment for Sheffield Wednesday. It's been the manager that comes in and revitalises an entire squad. It's going to be quite sad to see some of the players go. We've got players in the last year of the contract. We don't know what's going to happen with the likes of Barry Bannon. Josh Windass, I think he's probably off. Deshaun Bernard's come in, has been fantastic, but I'm very, very, very sure he won't be at the club next season, even though we've stayed up. We've got players that came in on loan, and yes, you fall in love with loan players. Ike Ugbo, James Beadle. We've had Pervader. Pervader's out of contract. I could see that one happening quite easily. The other two might be a little bit more difficult, but I am stressing how important it currently is that Chansiri backs the manager. He needs to back the manager this summer. It can't be one of those things where we just tread water and go, well, look how good he's done with the squad he's had. He can't do what was allegedly said to Darren Moore. We only need a couple of players and we'll be in the playoffs. We're going for the playoffs this season. That was said at the start of this season, and look how that turned out. We need the financial backing of the manager sustainably. Trust him. Bring the system in place. It is a positive situation. If you want to make this club what they could be, this is the way to do it. Back this manager. It won't happen overnight. It will be a process. But Danny Rull has shown under circumstances he can change the mindset of players. He can bring in a few additions. He hardly brought in any of his own players, but he managed to change the mindset of the ones we already had and the play style of the ones we already had, give them a focus and bring in small additions on top of that proved to be pivotal for us this season. I don't think it had gone down to the final day if Poveda had stayed fit. Poveda came in and was like a Forestieri reborn. And that for us is massive. Having a manager that works with these players, gets the best out of these players, that is who you need to back going forward. As a Wednesday fan, the past few seasons have been... Last season was amazing with the miracle of promotion. You know, I loved that journey, but it would have meant very little if Wednesday hadn't done what they'd done today, because it'd have been like, oh yeah, well, you got relegated the season after, didn't you? You did this amazing comeback in the playoffs, and then what was it for? And I thought that was where we were going this season. I thought that was the path that we were destined for. It looked that way for so long. We only secured safety on the final day of the season. But in a way, the feeling you get when you do that, it's worth it. And what I want to say in general to this ownership is, if you are going to be the owner of Sheffield Wednesday, and I know that's a very controversial thing, if you are selling, thank you for appointing Danny Roll. Because you could be selling, you could have decided this is time. But if you are staying, we need this summer to be flawless. We need this manager to be backed. We need to move forward. But I'm going to dwell in this good feeling. Dwell's probably not the word, is it? But I'm going to enjoy this feeling of surviving in this way for quite a little while as we prepare for the summer. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Commiserations to the relegated teams, Birmingham, Huddersfield, Rotherham. Birmingham especially, winning on the final day, potentially thinking you were still... That's tough to take. But all I can say is Sheffield Wednesday survived, and we needed that. We really needed that. Let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. It'd be really good to have a chat with some of you. But for now, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, do all those things, and keep watching right here on Dexterity Box.